Those are mine, and you can't play with them.
Hello, and welcome to Tales from the Backlog. My name is Steve Boshier, and I will be your game master for the evening. If you don't know this channel, this is Shadows of Archonia, where we stream all kinds of tabletop role-playing games. On Friday nights, we do ongoing campaigns set mostly in the world of Archonia, from which the channel takes its name. We are currently on hiatus from our main campaign, Shadows of Archonia 2, and in the middle of a 2-episode stint in one of our side campaigns called 100 Years Black. But we'll be back to our main campaign next month after our Shadow Dark Halloween special. But tonight is a Monday, and on Mondays we play all kinds of games. We like to rotate them out as we rotate our players. Tonight is Vaesen. Yet again, this is our, 5th episode in a row of this now? 4th or 5th? I bought a bunch of Vaesen. Well, we did 2 in A Wicked Secret, but it was really 2.5, right? So this is our 4th. This is our 4th.
Yeah.
We're still in that same book. The book is called A Wicked Secret, but we are not playing the titular adventure today. We're playing a different one, which is called The Song of... whatever it said on the YouTube video. Hold on a second. the Song of the Falling Star. The Song of the Falling Star. I'm on top of it. I'm running this game. Also, it's in huge letters on my screen right here, just to my right. Okay. That's how it's going for me. Anyway, if you want to help me buy more coffees and Red Bulls, you can join our Patreon. If you like the content you see on the channel, or if you just want to sort of join the community, that's free to do. You can do that using the link below the video, whether you're on Twitch or YouTube. It should be there right now. I'm also going to go ahead and paste it into the various chats, because we're live streaming on both platforms right now. So let's go ahead and hear from you guys about your characters.
Hey, my name's Jason. I'm playing Dr. Isaac Kaufman. I'm a Jewish doctor in 1800 Sweden, and I'm sexually attracted to monsters. Although it hasn't really come up yet.
I can't imagine when it would, but we'll see. Maybe tonight.
Well, it did. It did come up once.
There was
in that inn.
The Night Sow?
Maybe.
I had a thought for bringing it in there, but it didn't come to me till after we had done the adventure, so it never came up.
Well, I think it is significant that the last 2 Vaesen you have fought have basically been animals. So I don't know if that's part of it for you, or if you need sentient Vaesen.
Well, I was going to try and cut. I thought later, I should have tried coming on to that woman who had been turned into the Night Sow because she had been turned into the Night Sow. But I didn't think of that until a day later, so whatever.
Fair enough. All right, Cindy, you're up.
Okay, well, I'm a private detective. I'm Astrid Lindbergh in the game. And I like to thrill seek, and I like to have a good time when I'm not investigating crimes and such. Vaesen and all.
Yeah, sounds good. One left.
That would be me now.
Yeah.
So, my name's Patty, and I'm playing Ada Conan. I am a doctor. My motivation for everything is aiding the weak and the afflicted. I've done a lot of emergency medicine, frontline type emergency healthcare, those kind of things. That's pretty much me. I'm pretty boring, actually. Love books, love to read. And this is what I do is thrill seeking. Is I join the Search of Vaesen and help you guys as much as I can because it's very important to me. And I was, my trauma is one of my corpses had come back to life. And that started my seeking of more answers.
Oof.
Because it took me the hell out.
Okay. So since we only have a one shot tonight, I would like to fast forward a lot of the front end stuff. We have normally got like a whole invitation thing and then a role play section where you choose advantages and then a journey. But I'll try and get through that fast. We're not going to completely skip it. But first I need to ask you guys, which one of you has a cousin that is a count? Gotta be one of you.
That sounds like something Ada would be.
Yeah, that maybe.
Okay.
Maybe my cousin is a count.
Well, he's written you a letter.
Okay.
His name is Count Hugo von Kaiserling.
Okay, Hugo.
Yes. I'm going to read this to you, but I'm not going to show it to you because there's stuff in it I cut out.
Okay.
Dear cousin, I am writing to you to request your assistance in your capacity as a member of the society. Something strange is afoot, for I cannot for the life of me make sense of it all. My wife Agnes and I recently had our first child, Edward. Suddenly, just a few weeks after his birth, Agnes was like a different woman. She wanted nothing to do with the child and is now locked up at Ahrensburg Sanatorium after going to the sauna in the middle of the night to, in her own words, drown the monster. Agnes has always been a wise and sensible person. I do not understand what has gotten into her. Perhaps it is my fault. I left her alone a lot as my dissertation took up much of my time, and I was gone after Edward's birth because I was invited to give a lecture on my dissertation at Lund University. I am at my wit's end. She will not talk to me anymore, and the only person she has been in contact with is a friend of hers named Cornelia. Cornelia is convinced that Agnes is right and some sort of supernatural peril has befallen the child. If she is allowed to perform her rituals, I fear for the child's safety. As a scientist, I cannot accept the ludicrous idea that supernatural forces could be at work. I need your expertise to navigate the situation. Perhaps someone with your experience could convince Agnes. I am desperate, dear cousin. Your help would be most welcome. Yours sincerely, Hugo von Kaiserling.
Well, after reading that letter to everyone in the room, I would say, there are some medical conditions that can make a mother act strangely towards their child. I know this from the medical profession, and you would also know that. Gosh, Jason, what's your name?
Hoffman.
Oh, I don't know. It's not on
Isaac.
the screen or anything.
Isaac. You would also know about this, Isaac, I think.
Oh, yes. I'm very familiar with the...
I think they would have called it sad mothers.
Or some type of hysteria,
The female insanity.
Yes.
It's different than male insanity.
Yes.
Being a woman myself, I do not believe that it is an insanity. I think it might be an actual medical condition that we haven't figured out yet. But either way, the baby obviously needs our help, and the mother as well. So since I trust Hugo, he's a little short-sighted, but I trust him, so we should go investigate and see. Maybe she has lost her mind and needs a little bit of extra vitamin or extra sunshine.
Fresh air. Sure.
A treatment from...
just needs to be locked in a room out in the countryside with no distractions, nothing to do. So, her mind can just wander away and then she'll get better.
Yes, or we could treat her for
What helps
hysteria.
people get better is having literally nothing to do.
Cool. So on that note, let me show you where they live. Here is the Mythic North. You guys, as you know, live in this city here, Uppsala, Sweden.
Yep.
Cousin von Kaiserling and his wife live way over here in Arensburg on Oesel Island.
It's quite
Very easy to isolate her there, I believe.
Is that like a city?
Yes, Arensburg is a city. Let's get the map of it. Oh, here's the island closer. So they live in Arensburg.
Okay.
Well, of course, there's no time to waste. That poor child is in danger either way.
Indeed.
We should head that direction as soon as possible.
Yeah, so you guys will take stagecoaches and boats and whatnot. But you will need now to get your advantages.
Yeah.
Okay. And we just picked those, is that correct?
Yeah, and if you want to throw out a quick little thing about what you did to gain that advantage, go for it.
I'm going to be a broken record and do the same thing as last time. During our travels, I did a lot of observation, a lot of reading up on similar conditions of women right after giving birth. So I think that I will increase, what was it last time? It was my investigation logic skill.
No problem.
It's the skills, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that I will do a lot of observing of people, watching like the pickpockets around town and things like this to gain advantage on the observation empathy.
Okay.
And Dr. Kaufman?
Sorry, Dr. Kaufman is checking a skill real quick.
Okie dokie.
I think I can actually... Education... Yeah, so I think Dr. Kaufman has brought along a bag full of whatever texts he could find on women having problems with not accepting their children and such. And he is looking to get advantage with learning.
Outstanding. All right, I'd like to read you a couple of insets in the book with actual historical information about the region. This says the Baltics in the 19th century, which is, of course, you guys are in the Baltic Sea. In the mid-19th century, a national romantic trend arose in the Baltics after many years of Russian rule and serfdom. The Estonian language, which had thus far only been spoken, was recorded in writing by so-called Estophiles, often German or Swedish academics, who traveled around and recorded the languages, songs, and legends of bonded servants working on the rural estates. The collection of songs, or runes as they were also called, was published in Finland as the Kalevala and in Estonia as the Kalavipeg, Poeg, something. I don't speak Estonian. And the epics played a key role in the emergence of a cultural identity among the Finnish and Estonian people. So that's happening now. And then a more specific one about the city of Arensburg, which is where you are arriving. Here's a close-up map of the city. You're coming into the harbor there. Arensburg, called Kuressaare in Estonian, is the capital of Oesel and part of the governorate of Livonia in the Russian Empire under the Tsar. So you guys are not in Sweden right now. In the time that Vaesen takes place, trade flourished in the area, and the town was a popular health resort. Many sanatoriums were built on the beaches of Arensburg, where visitors could undergo various treatments for both physical and mental ailments. Probably because it's a nice nature area where they can sit and do nothing for a long time.
And I will talk to Isaac about this possibility of putting her in the sanitarium as a possibility. One, to protect the child.
According to the letter, she's already in one.
Oh, okay. She's already in the sanitarium away from the child.
Yeah.
But how about the friend that believed her?
That friend is not in the sanatorium. That friend is...
Well, she might need to be as well.
On her own recognizance. You know what? Let's just put all the women in hospitals.
Right?
In case they get hysterical someday.
Makes total sense.
Well, perhaps we should find out on which day this child was born. Perhaps.
If
it is, after all.
Correct. We also have to go that route. So if we do need to check that.
All right. Well, as you guys... Oh, sorry. What was that?
As we know, we're called in usually because of Vaesen. So that there is a slight chance that this could be more than what we first suspect.
Yeah, the letter is a little odd in that he writes it to you. He opens it by saying he's writing to you in your capacity as a society member, and then near the end he says that as a man of science he can't believe in a supernatural explanation. So it's not 100% clear what he expects you to be able to do, but
correct. But he knows I'm a doctor as well.
Yeah,
so that's probably why he wrote it to me.
He does know you're a doctor, and he probably sees your role in the society as being one of, folklore and so forth. It's early morning when your schooner arrives in Arensburg Harbor. Even from out at sea, you can see the harbor and Oesel Castle, which I don't know if you guys can make out the labels on the map, but it's this area. With its moats and fortification, it calls to mind another time when armored knights competed in tournaments. As you disembark, you'll find the harbor bustling with activity. It smells of fish, tar, spices, newly tanned leather, and livestock. Cargo is unloaded from the boats, and fish is being auctioned. Dock workers jostle with people waiting for shipments. Different languages are heard all over the harbor: German, Finnish, Swedish, Russian, and Estonian. All in conversation here. A valet approaches you, named Teat. He says, hello, I am the valet of Count von Kaiserling. You are Miss Conan, yes?
Oh, yes, I am. And you are the valet for my dear cousin.
Yes. Where is it that you would like to go? I can take you in the coach here to either Count von Kaiserling, who is at home, or to his wife Agnes in the sanitarium.
Where is the child? Do you know where the child is at this moment?
He is at home with his father.
With no female care?
Oh, yes, there is a nursemaid.
Oh, okay. So, Isaac, what do you think about going to the sanitarium first?
We could do that. I thought perhaps we could give the child a physical.
Oh, of course. That is definitely first thing we will when we arrive at Hugo's estate. But I assume the sanitarium is here in the city, so maybe we should visit her first and see, maybe get her account on things.
Let me show you, actually.
It looks like the sanitarium is on the way to your cousin's residence.
Yep.
So
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. They're both in the city, but it is true that the sanatorium is closer. Also, the Church of St. Nicholas.
Straight to the Church of St. Nicholas.
I was about to say the Church of St. Nicholas is part of the subplot I cut out, so you don't need to worry about that.
It doesn't exist.
There's probably a church there.
There is no church.
Well, there's a church everywhere, but
yeah, there's churches all over.
Her accounts, right, first. Because obviously, the chances of her just having a mental condition or a breakdown is obviously high. But let's get her account first, and then we can maybe go from there.
So, to be clear, Patty, you are playing a lady doctor who is fully bought into the theories of the time period about hysteria and whatnot.
No, I do believe mental condition that she's having. I don't believe it's hysteria. I don't believe she needs the whole treatment. I think that it has something to do with stuff that we are not scientifically aware of yet.
Fair enough.
So, no, I don't believe in the man's theory that she's just hysteric. I do believe that women do go through some type of a trauma at times when they give birth.
Okay, fair enough. So you would like to head to the sanatorium first? Everyone agreed on that?
Sure.
Yep, that's fine with me.
All right.
Isaac will scoff at the notion of trauma involved in childbirth. Childbirth, giving birth to children is a beautiful, magical thing that women get to do. And how could they possibly be traumatized by anything of the sort?
Oh, boy.
Isaac, have you ever attended a birth before?
Yeah, Isaac.
I thought not.
I'm just watching the show. That's what Astrid's doing.
How many kids have you given birth to?
To extend your studies on and your beliefs, you should attend the midwife or whoever is helping with the birth, just to see that there is a bit of trauma during the birth.
Well, I will take your word for that.
Make yourself as a better doctor.
Okay.
Not that you're not a good doctor, but to expand your mind and your learning. I do believe that you are short-sighted on this subject.
All right. Well, you guys find the sanatorium located in a wing of one of the many medicinal bathhouses constructed of wood along the shore, where healing properties were discovered a few decades ago. The house is a light green and has a large, beautiful mullioned windows, which is an architectural term that I don't know, a glassed-in porch overlooking the sea, and many rooms in the main building as well as the two wings. The reception desk is manned by 2 nurses, each dressed in a white uniform and cap, and people wearing the establishment's bathrobes are sitting in comfortable armchairs talking to each other. Water decanters have been placed on tables all over the room. And a man walks up to you. Let me describe him momentarily. He is in his early 50s, average height. He's wearing a shirt and vest and pants under a white lab coat. He has gray blue eyes and a warm look behind his round glasses. He says... Sorry. I just read a very silly catchphrase for this character. But he says... hello, I'm Dr. Norman. I take it you have been sent by the Count. He alerted us to expect your possible arrival.
Oh yes, I am actually his cousin. Also a doctor.
Ah.
And my colleagues here, Isaac, is also a physician. And Astrid is part of our society who has come along to...
Hello.
Yes.
Meet with
Yes.
Ignis. that her name? Agnes?
Agnes. Agnes. She's not a volcano.
You don't know that? She might be one.
Anything's possible in Vaesen.
That's true. Excuse me. So yes, would you mind giving us an account? Your doctor, of course. Yes.
Yes.
Himself is Doctor.
Yes, I'm Dr. Norman.
Can you tell us a little bit about what you believe is going on with Agnes?
Well, it is difficult to say. She was brought to the sanatorium after attempting to drown her baby. Against her will, of course. The wet nurse found her in the sauna, trying to do it in a wash tub. The child is all right. Agnes herself has given no reasonable explanation for her actions. It seems to me, thus far, that most likely the stress of childbirth must have weakened her mind, and this is the speculation that her husband gave himself, and I think he's probably correct. However, I believe that a regimen of the mud baths here will restore this poor woman.
Does you think, or does she have memory of trying to drown her child, or has she mentioned it at all?
She has. She believes that it is not her baby. She says it's a monster. She is very unclear. She offers no, as I say, reasonable explanation for why she would think that. Yes, Jason in the chat talking about healing mud. That is, in fact, the catchphrase they put in his little character bio that cracked me up. It says, health through mud.
No, that's... I looked this city up on Wikipedia just now, and that was in part of the history of it. It mentioned known for its healing mud.
Yeah, and the character's catchphrase is health through mud.
So she didn't say anything about why she thought her child was a monster.
Nothing coherent, I'm afraid.
Something incoherent?
She said she could see changes on his face. His features were different. Her father and the wet nurse saw no such thing.
I would think that the mother would be most familiar with her own infant.
I agree.
Well, generally, yes, but mothers are also often under enormous strain during childbirth.
So I have heard recently.
Dr. Kaufman, was it?
Yes.
I see.
I'm more of a cutting people up doctor.
I see. Okay.
Oh, come now. You patch people up from time to time.
Occasionally.
True, I have put people together before as well.
There we go.
And soon he's going to attend a live birth.
So you say.
Interesting.
I think every doctor, even one that cuts people up, should experience it for themselves. It is
Dr.
part of
Norman,
life and death.
Would it be possible for us to speak to the mother?
I would think not. I suspect it would disrupt her frail mental state.
Well, that's unfortunate. We actually came here to speak with her ourselves.
Yes, your cousin thought that you might, and he did warn us, but I just don't think it's a good idea right now.
Well, I do understand your concerns, Doctor. But
Ada, do you know Agnes? Have you met her with her before? Perhaps maybe just Ada could see her if that's the case.
Yes, could I see her as the dear cousin-in-law instead of
3 of us might be a bit much.
Why don't you both roll a manipulate check on that?
Empathy.
Okay. Nada.
Nope, unfortunately, nothing.
Okay, he declines to grant you access.
Well, maybe at a later date then.
Maybe, perhaps when she's feeling a bit better.
Yes, that would be entirely acceptable. Are there any other questions I can answer for you?
How was the mud here?
Oh, the mud is a miracle.
How does it work?
You get in it, and it begins to heal your ailments.
How?
Medical science is yet to understand. But we are doing much experimentation upon it.
Has Agnes partaken in your mud baths?
She has somewhat. She is resistant to any treatment at this time. She insists that there's nothing wrong with her, that she must save her baby. She alternates between saying she must destroy the monster and save the baby.
So perhaps her belief is that she has a living child that has been swapped.
Such beliefs do exist. I am afraid I don't know if that is what Agnes believes.
Well, perhaps the next time you are in conference with her, perhaps you could ask her that question, and if you get a reply, could you send it to me to my dear cousin's estate so that I can possibly follow up?
Are you suggesting I listen to the insane woman?
Correct. That's what I am suggesting, because you cannot, not to tell you how to do your job, but sometimes when you do listen to the insane, the truth becomes clear. Why they're insane, what has triggered their trauma.
Ah. Your ideas are strange and frightening to me, but perhaps you are correct.
Well, just try it once, and if it doesn't work, try it. Please try it with my dear cousin.
Indeed.
I do believe that you might learn a thing or two, and if you do, even if it seems crazy or outlandish or unrealistic, could you please forward that to me?
I will do that as soon as
as
soon as I can.
Thank you so much.
All right, so are you guys leaving the hospital, or are you going to try and sneak past this guy somehow?
Hell no, we're not leaving.
Okay.
At least in my mind, I'm gonna pull you guys aside and say, "Hell no, we're not leaving. We need to see we need to see Agnes. That something's going on."
Do we need to see her now, though?
What's that?
Do we really need to see her now, though?
But if she believes that her child has been swapped, I mean, that is very Vaesen, correct?
I agree, which means I feel like we should get to the child even sooner. What do you think, Dr. Kaufman?
Oh, I don't know. I've just been getting schooled left and right this whole journey.
Well, sometimes we must learn. We do not.
Apparently so. But Ada, I do believe I'm inclined to agree with Astrid that we should go check on the child. That sneaking around this facility whilst it may get us some small bit of information, it would also take us probably a fair bit of time to get through. Whereas, though you leave those alone, also stop clicking my mouse.
I assume you're talking to the cat.
Yes. No, they're not. They're just children who want to play with things. I think we'd be better. I think we would be better served meeting the child, talking to your cousin, and your cousin would be in a better position to get us access to his wife.
That is a fine idea.
It is a good idea, but let's at least keep an open mind that we may need to sneak back in here to see the mother herself.
Oh, of course. I'm always open for a good sneak. You know that.
Of course. But sometimes...
I'm not great at that, but sure.
We didn't say you had to sneak. You could be the distraction.
I can distract people. Maybe.
Oh, interesting.
Perhaps you could talk to the doctor about your interests in the Vaesen.
Yes, that's exactly what I need to do. I say
that would be
absolutely sarcastically, dripping with sarcasm. Hold on. Yeah, I got 2 successes on that manipulation check to absolutely drip with sarcasm.
All right. So you guys get back in Teet's wagon. Yeah, that's what we're calling it. And head off to the Von Kaiserling. Yeah, you know, Teet's wagon. You head off to the Von Kaiserling residence. So, where is it? It is, well, it's there where the dot is, of course. Stone building with 6 rooms and a garden. The Teet lets you know that you are welcome to stay here during your time in Aaronsburg. Inside, you are greeted by Count Hugo. Teet shows you in, and you find him sitting by the living room bay window with his cantelet in his lap, playing music on it. The song is so beautiful that it takes all of you away from the city for a moment. Your weariness from the travel evaporates. He is self-accompanying as he sings. And after a moment, he looks up and stops playing, puts down his instrument and says, "Ah, dear cousin and friends, welcome. I'm eternally grateful that you've come all this way. I've tried to understand what has gotten into Agnes. I worry so much about her."
And I will approach him, motion for him to stand, and I will kiss him on both cheeks and say, "Oh, dear cousin, it's so good to see you. But let's get down to business right away. May we, first off, you can give us first-hand impression of what you believe is going on, and then we would urgently like to see the child."
Well, I strongly suspect that it is simply some sort of emotional trauma that Agnes has suffered during the childbirth. It didn't manifest immediately. But the only other explanation that has been offered is some sort of magical, spiritual explanation, which I simply can't get behind. But I know that such things are your purview, and I thought perhaps you could at least explain what may be going on.
How old is my nephew now?
3 months.
Because you said this didn't happen right away. What time? How long before Agnes started acting strangely?
It was a few weeks after the birth. Yeah, I can't find that exact information quickly, but we'll call it like 2 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she'd been crazy for about a month.
Yeah.
Did she have a especially difficult birth?
No, not at all. The birth was very smooth, as these things go, I am told.
Of course. And who takes care of the child full time?
Our wet nurse, I know.
And have you spoken to Aino about what Agnes believes, or have you asked her questions about the behaviors?
She is a local superstitious type of person. Her beliefs are confusing. She says something about trolls and deals.
Perfect.
Interesting.
Crazy, of course.
Well, yes, as you know, I've been doing research into the local legends around here myself. In that I believe they may point to historical truths that are concealed within their sort of fictional trappings. That has been the subject of my dissertation. But to suggest that my wife's mental break and subsequent institutionalization is the result of trolls, I can't get behind that.
Tell me more about this troll myth that you have been studying. I do believe that some things, is easier to understand for certain cultures if they are presented as a myth or a fantastical metaphor. But could you tell me about this?
You're wrong in the chat. There says roll for seduction. I always attract crazy women. I think he might be a couple minutes behind us. Yeah. So he will tell you. There is a nearby village. Let me bring up the island map again. It's this one. The village of Kali, a little ways away from Aaronsburg here, where he's been doing a lot of his research. That village is surrounded by craters. And it has been Hugo's theory that these craters were caused by meteorites, even though scientific consensus has been that they are volcanic in nature. So he has been studying local songs in order to try and examine them for what they might say about the formation of these craters. That's been what his dissertation has been on.
I see.
And he'll explain that to you briefly when you ask him.
Okay. So, what about a song about trolls? Is there a song that you found that suggests that the trolls created these craters?
Well, yes. I mean, not necessarily about the trolls creating the craters, but they do speak of things coming from the sky.
Would you be willing to share this song with us? Do you have it written down, perhaps?
Yeah, he'll sing for you, or give you, written versions of the song if you would like them. He's willing to talk at length about the songs and fairy tales of this island. This is his subject of interest. But to offhand, there's not much that you can glean from it quickly.
Okay. So he blabbers on about all the myths and all the songs, and none of it really
Yeah, and he's really an Aaronsburg kind of guy. He's a city boy, essentially. And so when he tells these sort of folklore stories, they are subjects of academic study and of novelty for him. They're not something that he considers, his culture necessarily.
Oh, I gotcha. Okay.
Right.
Well, I appreciate all the time and all the information you can give us, cousin. But may we see Edward now?
Oh, you wish to see him? Yes, he is with Ino now. Let me take you to them. They are out back playing in the garden. Let's see. Oh, no, scratch that. They are in the nursery, which overlooks the garden. He is 3 months old, and he is asleep in his cradle.
Well, if you could just direct us in that, we can find it, cousin.
Sorry, that was out of character. He has taken you there, and you see him asleep in his cradle.
Darn it. Okay. Well, if you would excuse us, cousin, we will inspect the child, and then you can continue your music downstairs, and we will join you in just a moment's time.
The wet nurse is in here. She says, "Oh, please do not wake him. I just got him asleep."
Oh, of course not. Of course not. We are just going to observe him and possibly have a conversation with you as well, if you don't mind.
Oh, of course. If Count von Kaiserling wishes it, and he'll nod and wave to her to speak to you as he goes back downstairs to resume his blathering away on that instrument.
Perfect. Get the fuck out of the way. That's basically what I want. I want him to go away.
Yeah. Oh, what questions would you like to ask?
Well, we have been alerted of Agnes's condition, and we were kind of wondering if you've noticed anything strange with the child.
I have
anything
not.
You tell us, I promise I will not relay to my cousin. But this is what we do. We are part of a society that researches the Vaesen, but we are also medical doctors, me and Isaac, and so we are on both sides.
Well,
so nothing is too far-fetched.
I know that the Count does not agree with me on this, but I think he may have made some sort of deal. Certainly Agnes is correct. Something supernatural has happened to this child. When Count Hugo was gone shortly after the young man's birth, his christening was delayed. This is something that typically protects a child from evil. Once they are christened, they cannot be taken as prey so easily. And since he was not christened on time, it was shortly after this that the mother lost her mind, if she did indeed do that. I tried to convince her to sew some protective runes into the pillowcase or the cradle, but she forbade me to do so. And that same night is when she tried to drown the baby.
So you think the Count made a deal? I am sorry, Ada. I did not mean to interrupt.
No. Go ahead. I still have it in my head. Go ahead.
Yep. You mentioned the Count made a deal?
He may have. I suspect he has. He has been doing a lot of research around the village of Kali, and it is known that trolls live alongside the people there. If you make a deal with a troll and you renege,
So I've heard.
Yes.
Do you think that is it possible, just curious, with your knowledge of possibly trolls, he unknowingly made a deal with the troll, or do you think it had to have been a conscious decision?
I do not think that he is a liar, and since he is not a liar, he must not be aware. But I think it might have something to do with his cantillet. He plays it all the time since he acquired it. And it is strange to see how lost he gets in it. Did you know he is known around the city and the village for his incredible musicianship on that instrument?
Well, we did actually hear him when we entered, and it was breathtaking, to say the least.
It definitely took me away elsewhere. It was very odd, a little disconcerting, actually.
Before he began his research paper, he didn't play.
Oh, now that is interesting.
I think it has something to do with some sort of deal that he made to further his research. His research is involving these songs and stories, and all of a sudden he is a famous musician and successful academic scholar, but something has gone wrong with his wife and child. It sounds like a deal with a troll gone bad. I don't know the specifics, but that's what it seems like to me.
And what about the child? Have you noticed strange things about the child?
I have not. I see nothing strange about the child.
And what did Agnes, if anything, tell you that she saw with the child?
She swears that his face changed. Agnes, I'm the one who found her in the sauna, trying to drown poor little Edward, but she said his face changed. She swore it was a monster and not her baby.
Interesting.
Perhaps it's some kind of curse that makes your mother hate you. I don't know. I have noticed no change in the child, but I don't know.
How long have you been caring for the child? Since birth?
All his life, 3 months, yes. I was a friend of Agnes before. Not a close friend, but we knew each other.
And is there a reason you did not put the runes secretly around the room or on the crib if you believed that such things would protect the child?
Well, one must respect the parents' wishes in these matters.
Well, you're right, and sort of.
Did she give a reason for not wanting the embroidery on her child's pillow?
I think she just did not care for the superstition of it, as she would say.
Oh, so Agnes is not a believer in, let's say, local myths and...
She is not. She is a churchgoer and I believe fancies herself a scientist's wife. Which she is, but she is proud of that.
What delayed the christening? Was it my dear cousin's absence that delayed the christening?
Yes, that's correct. He was gone. That was when he was giving his lecture on his dissertation at Lund University.
Lund University, is that in that village, the Kali village?
Well, I think it's a big one.
I would think it would be more than a village.
Well, I would too, but I'm just thinking, if he
Yeah,
was
that's
in that area.
that's on the Swedish mainland.
Oh, I see.
So that's why he was far away. I'm not sure where on the map Lund is, but it's
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 not
back
necessary.
it's back in Sweden.
If he was out doing his field research at the time, or if he was actually at the university.
Yeah, that was when he went to do his lecture, and his absence, they didn't want to do it without him there.
Right. Interesting. I don't know what else to ask at this moment. I'm going to do a little bit of my own research. And do you mind if we look around, look at the child? We promise not to wake him.
Sure.
About how long does little Edward sleep? Perhaps we could come back when he is awake.
It depends on how noisy you are near him. I would expect him to be out another hour.
Could you come and get us when he wakes?
Certainly. Are you staying here? Count Hugo mentioned you may.
According to the valet, we were expected to stay here.
Yes.
Indeed.
And I do believe we'll take my dear cousin up on his generous offer.
Okay. So you will be shown to rooms. Is there anything you guys wish to do while you wait for Edward to wake up?
There was another friend, wasn't there?
There was.
Cornelia, yeah.
Cornelia. It was only an hour, though.
An hour-ish,
Is there, does he have like a small library or anything?
If you're referring to Hugo, yeah, there is a small library. Also, I think Isaac brought a whole bunch of books with him.
He did.
Yeah, I'm more interested in the local lore and things like that than what he brought.
Well, you are.
Yeah, and
I'll leave the medical stuff to the doctors.
I'm also interested in reading some of my cousin's
Okay.
The dissertation, perhaps.
Yeah, I'd like to possibly, and maybe even ask him about, I don't know what the instrument was called, but his musical abilities that seemed to have popped, because when I knew him before, he never played the instruments. He never wasn't a musician or even seemed to care much for music, which is interesting to me.
Yeah, let me see. So the thing, if you're going to go speak to him about that, like I said before, he considers himself a scientist first. He has this great interest in the old songs and is a creative with the music. Excuse me. But he's going to tell you that he's never firsthand noticed anything supernatural in his encounters with these villagers that he's been speaking to.
Of course.
Why don't you roll a manipulation if you're going to ask him about the instrument?
I got 2 successes.
Ah. Well, yes. This was given to me in Kali, as I was asking when you see. As I don't live there, they saw me as an outsider. They wouldn't answer my questions about their folklore. They saw me as someone who didn't respect their culture, I think. But I met Lilo. She's the innkeeper out there in Kali. Wonderful woman. She gave me this cantilay and suggested that if I learned some of the local music, they might be more willing to share their stories and legends with me, and I'll be darned if she wasn't correct. When I began playing their songs to them, the floodgates opened.
Who taught you how to play?
Well, I kind of just figured it out.
Huh. Naturally, huh? That is very interesting, and you're very talented.
Oh, thank you very much. I mean, it took some time, but yes. Self-taught, I suppose you'd say.
Very, very good. We felt it on the way in.
Well, I flatter myself to say that I have become somewhat known in the area.
Well, with that talent, I'm not surprised. Do you mind if we look at some of your notes or your dissertation or anything like that? Do you mind if we...
Oh, by all means. If you think it may help your investigation, yes.
Oh, it might. We heard that the christening was delayed. I understand that your wife would want you there when the baby is christened, but some people find it is very important to have it on a timely.
Yes, I know keeps reminding us that we should have had him christened on time, but I mean, it's a ceremony. It's symbolic. I was away at the time, and I didn't want to miss it.
Is he now christened?
Did
the ceremony happen?
Yes.
Was he christened before your wife tried to drown him?
No. Unfortunately, we are not sure when she is going to be recovered from her ordeal, and so I was forced to do it without her.
Forced. That is an interesting word.
Well, perhaps overstated. If it were to be done, I had to do it without her. Or wait an indefinite amount of time.
Understandable. And how soon did you have him christened? After your wife was institutionalized, or whatever word you would like to call it, put on given rest?
We just did it a few days ago. She's been there for, I suppose, a month now.
Just a few days ago. Interesting. Do you mind if we peruse your library? Is your study in your library? Is it
yes.
two separate?
Yeah, he'll show you to his study where he has some books. It's not, the world's hugest mansion. They don't have like a giant library, but he's got. Yeah, he'll let you look through what he has.
Okay. That's what I'd like to do. Would you guys like to join me, or is...
Yeah, I definitely want to look through his writings and whatever else he might have collected for some clues.
All right.
I also am curious, did she have an interest in reading and...
In reading, I suppose.
Local lore, perhaps?
Not... she was supportive of what I did. She has an interest in history of her own. She's not an academic herself.
Oh, of course not. Of course not. I just looked as a hobby, or if she had a collection of books of her own, or if you guys just kind of shared.
In passing, she is interested in a variety of different topics. Whatever book she has, you can also have access to.
Oh, perfect. Thank you so much. And if you would just point the way, we will we'll take a look. And the baby is going to be asleep for maybe another hour or so.
Yeah.
So it will. Oh, wait. Her friend you mentioned in the letter.
You're Columboing this guy so hard. Okay.
I am. because he's
What about her friend?
Yes, like the friend you mentioned in the letter.
Cornelia?
Yes, her. Is there a way we could get a meeting with her?
I can certainly have her brought here if you wish.
Indeed, we would like to speak with her probably as soon as possible. We don't want your wife staying at the sanitarium longer than is necessary.
On that we agree.
Plus, as part of what we do, we like to pique our curiosities as well. So,
by all means.
Other people's opinions of the events.
All right.
Of course, I'm sure it's nothing. I'm sure that it is just, post-birth hysteria, of course.
Yes. Your captain told you to ask, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. So, did anyone want to look for anything specific in all these books and documents? You have Hugo's, Agnes's, and your own available.
I want trolls. I want to look at anything that has to do with trolls.
Okay. Isaac?
Some sort of link between that and children, babies, or
Sure.
deals and things like that.
Okay.
Is there anything else to cover?
Let's get learning tests from everyone. How about that?
Yeah, okay.
Half it. That one's somewhere. So I'm gonna call in my advantage.
Copy that.
I got a success.
Okay.
Wow.
No successes for me.
9 dice, and I got 2 successes.
Cool. Ada finds nothing. Astrid obviously finds nothing. Isaac on 2 successes. Oh, hold on a sec. Un momento, por favor. We have run out of disk space for a local recording.
Oop.
What am I gonna do with this stuff? Delete that. Anyway, what you learn from your research is that trolls can look a lot like humans, sometimes even beautiful, but there's always some detail that gives them away. Christian symbols cannot be brought into the dwelling of a troll unless the bearer first turns their clothes inside out and walks backwards through the entrance while also speaking backwards. That's a weird one. Trolls can be driven off through Christian rituals, for example, by placing a cross in their dwellings. Children can be protected from trolls by baptizing them. Or christening. Let's see. I will technically haven't fulfilled all the requirements for this one, but I'm going to give it to you anyway. I'll say Ada finds this, even though I said a second ago that she didn't. Having met the nursemaid and hearing all this troll talk, and then looking through these books, you are reminded of the fact that trolls sometimes live alongside humans. And looking at some of the local lore that your cousin has collected, it seems like that's what's happening out in Cali. They live in communities where they brew beer, they keep livestock, they get married, and they have their own traditions. This is a full culture of sentient beings. Although they hate everything about the Christian religion, The trolls can sometimes exchange favors and tools with humans. There have been cases where trolls have snatched a baby from its cradle and left a changeling in its stead.
Okay. So a few things then, I guess, knowing this. Is there a church in the little village that he was researching?
Callie?
That should be, that should be pretty easy to find in his papers or in the map. Is there a church?
I'm going to say no. There's no church there.
Okay.
Did we observe any Christian relics in Hugo's home?
So, I'm going to have an observation test for that.
Okay. I'll go ahead and use my advantage. That gives me one more dice, right?
2 more dice.
2 more dice. Okay. I'll just drop that one on the floor.
Great idea.
Okay.
As was the style of the night.
Why are we talking about Hellboy in chat?
What?
Okay, apparently Astrid's out to lunch.
Busy.
Didn't notice anything. Can't find anything.
So then the short answer is no, you don't see anything, but this house is so big and a cross or something like that could be so small that you're not sure.
But it's not obvious display of religious faith. So there's not like Mother Mary on the mantle, or
there's not a bunch of ostentatious Christian stuff everywhere.
No, not around here. These people are
want to do.
Yeah, as it appears to you, these people are nominally Christians, as most of the culture is these days, but they're not necessarily devout.
Well, we could always get our hands on something, a cross or whatever, and try to bring it in, see what happens.
You could. You could also go check out the village if you wanted.
Definitely want to head in that direction. Do we want to talk to the friend first? Obviously, we want to wait around to the child wakes. What time of day is it?
Right.
What time of day is it? It's probably early afternoon by now.
And I think we should go to the village without my cousin. Definitely on our own.
They'll definitely trust us more as complete outsiders.
You don't have to keep it a secret from him to go without him.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Unless you think bringing him along would help us in our investigation, Isaac.
Well, what exactly are we looking to deduce right now? Because it feels like we're trying to chase like 3 or 4 different tales, all going in wildly different directions. For one, about how far away is this village of Kali?
Let's see. I'm gonna call that between 15 and 20 kilometers. From there to there at this scale. You can get there today, is the point.
But if we go there, we'd be most likely staying the night there.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if I like that idea.
Well, that's why I'm trying to just put these cards these metaphorical cards on this abstract table, so we can get our thoughts in order of what we want to do.
Right.
We still want to examine the child and examine the child. We want to talk to this other woman.
Mm-hmm.
What else do we want to do, and what are we hoping to accomplish with what we're doing?
I would like to make sure that the infant is indeed not a troll, or rather
A changeling.
Changeling, or anything other than human.
If they are, if they are a troll,
we'll probably have to get to the bottom of the deal and figure out how to hopefully reverse it.
Find the original child. If the child was swapped, and we know and from what we do for a living that this is a very high possibility that it could have very well have been swapped. We do believe in trolls. And we know that things like this can happen.
Correct.
So what we need to find out is there any... Well, first of all, is the child normal or not?
Well, right around now would be when Edward's waking up. So if you want to go examine him, the nursemaid will come let you know that he's awake.
Where do you think we'll find something like a cross, you guys? Do you think maybe the nursemaid has something? I don't have anything in my bag.
It's more like she would have.
You both would have better ideas than I.
Well, I could. What if I just go out into the town and find one? Because it said that I wouldn't be able to enter unless I did this weird stuff. I'll either be able to enter or not, correct?
Yeah, that's right. If you have a Christian symbol on you, yeah.
Which means she has to go backwards and talk backwards and be all kind of weirdo.
Well, if I can't enter, I'll just leave it on the porch and come in.
Okay.
Hey, maybe Titty has something.
Teat.
Maybe Teat has something. Like he might have a crosser or Bible or something of.
So Astrid, you're going to go find some sort of Christian symbol device to try and to see if you can enter into the household with it.
Right.
Whilst Ada and myself examines the child to see if we can find any physical scientific evidence pertaining to it being something other than human.
Right.
Correct.
Okay.
Let's
execute this plan.
All right. So Astrid, you're going to get a Christian symbol, yes?
Yes, I would think it wouldn't be too hard to find some stall or
pretty easy.
Something to buy a cheap trinket.
You can easily buy a cross, no problem.
Okay, I will do that.
All right.
And you're gonna go look at the child. Do we want to look at the child with other people in the room, or do we want them to? Or do we want to do it alone?
I mean, we're gonna be poking and prodding at this thing. So I mean, whatever.
This thing.
Exactly, this thing. Do you want to be interrupted while poking and prodding, or do you want to see if we can do it in private?
So the person that would be with
you... We're not going to be taking it out to the park to do this.
Yeah.
We're not
but we could ask
in public.
Witnesses.
Are you intending to do something untoward to this child?
Of course not.
But
I might want to strip it naked and,
the wet nurse is not going to leave you alone with the kid.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't have the option of doing this without witnesses.
No. No.
You know what I mean.
Nope.
I'm not going to be invasive or anything, but I'm going to look for marks or anything that might signify that this is not a human child. And that probably means with nudity and looking places
that's what they would expect us to do with the child.
You are doctors and it is a baby. Yes. Nobody's going to think that's weird.
Well, Isaac is, with his relation with Vaesen, he might even have a sixth sense.
Okay, we're moving past that real quick.
Yeah.
I don't mean that he would have an attraction.
Moving past that real quick.
We're not touching on that.
Yeah. Let's have a medicine.
I don't mean he'd have an attraction. I mean that he might sense that this is a Vaesen. I don't mean that he would have an attraction.
Well, let's do a medicine check from one of you and an investigation check from the other.
What's your investigation look like?
My investigation is 7.
What's your medicine?
Let's see. Medicine's 3. Precision. 7.
Cool. So which one do you want to do? I'll do the other one. We literally have the same dice for each.
Right. I can do investigation with my bonus if necessary. So why don't you do your medicine?
Then I'll do the medicine. Come on. Oh, are you fucking kidding me? 7 fucking dice.
I'm assuming you got 3 successes.
So Isaac's getting a little frustrated with the amount of time this is. We had to wait an hour to get access to this kid, and I got to poke and prod at this kid. Whatever, come on, give me something. 1 success.
And that was medicine or
medicine.
Okay. And Ada, what did you get? Nothing?
I cannot believe it.
Okay.
Nothing.
Well, your 1 success on medicine is enough to tell you child's perfectly healthy, real big for his age. He is already able to sit up and grasp at things, which, being 3 months old, is not super usual. This would be behavior of a 6-month-old baby. He also already has 2 bottom teeth.
Oh, that's a little weird.
That's a little weird.
I'm definitely taking note of all of these things.
Yeah.
What does it mean to push a roll? I noticed that he was frustrated.
So you're going to mark one of your conditions. Now, do you have to mark a condition associated with the roll?
I would think narratively that makes the most sense. I'm not sure if there's a rule about it.
So I'm not actually getting angry. This kid. So you know how you said that this kid's got a couple of his teeth already?
Yeah.
This kid took a bite out of me.
Ow.
Yeah. Ow. Blood and everything. That's not normal. And Isaac's just yeah, cool. the kid's kind of big. He's sitting up, but that's, it's a little, he's a little young for it, but and the teeth are a little weird though.
Yeah.
I say as I wrap my hand up in bandages.
They are indeed weird. Ada, were you asking about pushing because you're planning to do it?
I was thinking about doing it. I mean, noticing these changes.
A condition associated with the category of attribute that the roll is made with, so physical or mental, and then you'd re-roll all the non-success dice.
Which was all of them?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Which would be all of them. So you basically, it's a re-roll in exchange for taking a condition.
Okay, I don't think I need to. I think at this point, noticing the teeth and the sitting up and the large, and I know at 3 months, statistically, I probably, amongst the books that I have, I do have, books on...
Yeah, he's a statistical outlier.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so what I want to do now is take this knowledge and see if maybe trolls that live as humans, maybe learn more about the troll use and see if they...
I'll tell you without asking for a reroll, because you already did a bunch of troll research. What you do know is that trolls run bigger than humans. Even when they look like humans, they are bigger.
So would this be a good time for me to try to get back in the house?
Yeah.
All right, so I'll just hold it in my hand and try to walk through the front door.
Hold what in your hand?
The cross I picked up.
There's no cross.
There's no cross in my hand. It disappeared.
No. You could have sworn you were holding something.
Huh. Okay.
But she walks through the door just fine.
Yeah, you are able to come in.
I will.
After taking a minute, you realize what happened. Mm-hmm. You had a cross, and now you don't.
So I will head up to where the baby and the rest of my party is and join them.
All right. I know. Well, you guys are together, and you have this giant child with you. Not that one.
Well, from what we definitely need to get alone, talk what our next steps are, find out what are we going to do now.
You guys easily have the option of retreating from the nursery to one of your own rooms and discussing it there.
Yeah.
I think we definitely should do that, and then put it all together. Tell Astrid what we discovered. Obviously, a very early developed child with teeth and can sit up at 3 months and quite large. Gosh.
Yeah. Well,
so signs are definitely leaning in the direction that this is very possibly a troll, but the science part of me says, well, maybe he's an anomaly.
I tried to enter the house with the cross in my hand, and suddenly it was gone.
Your hand?
I carried it in my hand so I could see it. So I could see I could hold it, feel it, and see the necklace part hanging down, and it was the strangest thing. It would not enter, but I was able to enter. Or something. It's gone. That's all I know.
All right.
So, to deduce for what we do as a living, then we definitely have a lead. That this is something up. This is not a normal child.
Yeah.
It is very possibly swapped. And we need to get to the bottom of the trolls, the deal, something. Where is this original? concern.
We need to find Edward.
Yeah.
So do you think we should head to Kali after the break and inquire with the woman that your cousin received that instrument from?
That was Lilo, the innkeeper, right?
That's right.
Yeah, I think that should be our first stop. Well, that would be our first stop going into a new town anyways. Would be either a store or an inn.
Yeah. Well, I'm just going to hit fast forward a little bit and say you guys do that. You catch a ride over to Kali, and when you get there, this region dominated by these craters. This Kali village is a little bit away from the craters, just over on the edge. Nondescript little village. Just a few houses and an inn. An inn that is a converted windmill, by the way. Okay. However, all of you, being, as you are, Thursday's children, members of the society, possessors of the site, when you look at this village, you realize, golly gee, the majority of these villagers are trolls. This is a mechanic that hasn't come up in our previous games because the Vaesen have never been disguised as humans before, but you do have the sight and you can see them. They're trolls. There are humans and trolls just living in this village together. So we will deal with that in 10 minutes when we come back.
Well, real quick before we deal with that.
Yeah.
I know you just wanted to brush over the travel.
Okay.
But I would like to spend 2 of my resources to hire a carriage to take us here.
Oh yeah.
Which it allows us to travel to a new location, and it would allow me to heal 1 condition.
Oh, perfectly fine. I was assuming you guys took a carriage without involving all those mechanics, but yeah, that's perfectly
but I wanted
fine.
to heal that condition.
Great, go for it.
Okay.
All right. So now we'll be back in 10 minutes. See everyone then. Welcome back. We are now in Kali Village in Estonia on the island of whatever the island was called.
Yep. That place.
Oesel.
Oh, yeah.
We got Misery in the Twitch chat. I missed what the Hellboy comment was about there earlier, Misery. I saw Hellboy, if I recall correctly, and I don't remember what that was about. If you remember, let me know. I'm just curious. But yes, you guys have arrived in Kali, and it turns out there are just trolls walking around being villagers here.
Interesting.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Your driver doesn't notice.
Yeah, as they wouldn't. Yeah, so we're looking for this innkeeper, right?
Yeah. We'll head to the inn.
That's right. The inn, as I mentioned, I think before break, is actually an old windmill.
Right.
By a small stream on the edge of the village, near the 9 craters. There's 9 of them, by the way. Yeah, so there's all this information in here about what would lead you to the inn, but you guys already asked Dude Man about it back in the city, so you're here looking specifically for the inn. Yeah, if you guys go inside, you find an inn. It's a warm, boisterous atmosphere. It smells of bread, beer, sauerkraut. Man, I want that. I want some bread and sauerkraut. I don't really like beer.
That sounds good.
Yeah. There's people here. Everyone's eating. Wow. Piglets, chickens, and baby goats walk freely between the tables.
So it's sanitary.
It's definitely pre-health code.
It's just rural.
Probably we've encountered this many times before. That's probably very normal. So are we just gonna? How are we gonna approach this innkeeper? Are we going to just come right out and ask? You guys, I'm kind of whispering this to you to the side.
I assume like we would have talked about this on the way here.
Yep.
And at least in part, we should inquire about being able to get a room for the night.
Mm-hmm.
And possibly we could just ask if we could take her aside to have a word and just be pretty bold and on the nose about it.
I think so. I think we should just come straight forward and not really waste much time.
Right.
Get down to the bottom of this.
Like, what was the point?
I don't want to come off aggressive or anything, but...
What was the point? Where's this child? How can we get him back? That's basically my goal.
Right.
So, is a man or a woman behind the counter?
An enormous woman.
An enormous woman.
She is taller than many of the men around here.
Okay.
Wow. Greetings. We are looking for a room. If you do have any vacancies.
Yes, indeed. We have vacancies.
Perfect.
How many rooms? 1? 3? 2? 3 rooms.
I think we can get away with 2.
I think 2 will be fine.
2 rooms. I can do that.
Yeah, preferably one with 2 beds, if you wouldn't mind.
Yes, absolutely. Can I get you any food? Anything else?
Well, I'm a little bit hungry. Do you guys have a special?
It's called Tulipuduryanat.
That sounds delicious.
It's
Take one of those.
What is in that?
mashed potatoes with a sauce of smoked pork, milk, and flour. Actually, sounds good.
It does sound good. It sounds like a gravy.
I don't mean to be inconsiderate. Do you have anything that does not have pork in it?
Well, you can have mashed potatoes.
Excellent. I do like mashed potatoes.
Great. And they like you.
And while we're talking, I would like to try and covertly, without her noticing, look for a ring.
A ring?
Yeah.
On her finger?
Mm-hmm.
What is it, sneak or stealth in this game?
Stealth.
Stealth, I believe.
Okay, so you're going to easily see that she has no ring, but please roll to see if she notices you noticing.
Yes. No successes.
She's like, you are new in town, sir?
We are.
I haven't seen you around.
No. We have come to take in the sights and maybe learn a thing or two. About a thing or two.
I can see that. Remind me what Dr. Kaufman's age is.
Mid-40s.
Got it. A very old man.
Positively decrepit.
Okay.
Turning to dust at a moment's notice.
It's a miracle people can live this long these days.
Well, okay, wait. According to my character sheet, it says probably right around 40.
Okay. So just on the edge of dying.
Yes.
Okay.
Can we guesstimate maybe her age just from looking at her?
Let me see. She appears to be... It's a little vague, actually. Hard to tell. One of those people who has youthful features but sort of a mature countenance. So maybe early to mid-30s.
Yep.
Perfect.
Yes. Would you like to sit? I'll bring you... We have some bread also, rye bread, if you
Oh,
wish.
I would love some of that. And how
Bread and
about
papers.
your mead? How's your selection?
We are well known for our mead here.
I would love the best mead you have to offer, please.
Absolutely.
Madam, I will take a tankard of mead as well.
So will I.
All right. Mead is served. Do you want to say anything to her about why you're here or ask her name, or are you leaving that for later?
I think we should be upfront about it. I mean, at least I don't know how we're gonna do that, but I think that we should just be like
Let's
that we know.
cold, but maybe let's eat. Let's observe and see what her routine seems to be, and possibly approach her about talking in private.
Maybe how busy is the inn right now?
Very. This is a hub of social activity in the town.
Yeah, perhaps when things quiet a bit.
Right, because we are here mid-morning.
Oh no. You guys spent the night before you traveled, is that right?
I believe so. We were going to anyways.
Because it was like early afternoon.
Yeah.
So if you did spend the night, then it's probably mid to late morning. If you did not, then it's evening. You did get rooms right away, so maybe it's still the same day.
Okay, so
Yeah,
evening.
I'll say it's the same day.
Yeah.
Okay.
You say.
Yeah.
And that's probably for the best if you want to wait for her to be alone.
Right. So we'll just wait. We'll slowly eat, talk amongst ourselves, keep an eye out. Do we notice any more? Because we know right away that this woman is a troll.
Yes. She's the one who has a tail sticking out from under her skirt.
Okay.
Try to keep it together, Isaac.
Concealed?
I know.
Does she try to
What
keep it
kind of
concealed?
tail?
And kind of just like something that she's slipped out while she's serving us?
It's mostly concealed. The humans in this village maybe don't even know who's a troll and who isn't. They would believe in trolls as a matter of superstition and local folklore. But the trolls themselves would still try to disguise themselves as humans.
Okay.
So yeah, it is concealed. And she, like we discussed, she doesn't know that you have the sight.
Right.
Misery's funny, man. Have you seen any human babies around?
Well, that's
Excuse
forward.
me.
That's the chat. If you're watching this later, you should try to catch us live so you can be in the chat for these jokes.
The Twitch chat.
Yeah, we have a Twitch chat and a YouTube chat. We have You're Wrong over there saying trolls are gross.
Man, that's like your opinion, man.
He also says you can't spell crater without rate, and I rate your stream thumbs up. I rate your comment thumbs up. All right. Are you guys going to eat quietly? Are you going to try and socialize? What's going to happen?
So what I was wondering is how many other trolls do we notice within the inn? Is it basically half and half?
I would say it's
mixed.
I would say it's less than half trolls. Probably significantly less than half, but a good number still.
Okay. Is there any youth?
Define youth. Like kids?
Some youths.
Children. Not like babies, but children.
Not too many here in the inn.
Okay.
Youths. Oh boy. Vinny.
I'm gonna watch that someday.
Have you ever watched it?
I've never seen it.
Oh man.
I know.
I don't want to derail the stream about that, but you gotta.
I know.
Okay. All right. Let's see. A tall, blonde-haired man with broad shoulders and wavy hair hung down to his shoulders. Comes into the inn. He is very strong looking, from like the type of strength you get from years of manual labor, hard work. And he is frankly gorgeous, except for one thing, which is a giant scar that mars his cheek on one side. And he's going to order up some food and sit down to eat.
But he's gorgeous.
This man,
will give him a look over.
If they were doing movies in Estonia in the late 19th century, which maybe they were, I don't know, he'd be in them.
I can't believe it's not butter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, movie stars definitely weren't really a thing, but he would be one.
Yeah, so Astrid will give him a look over.
Yeah. Yeah, he's the star of book cover paintings. You're right about that. Yeah. Astrid, you're the only person here who's fond of human males, I think, right?
That is correct.
Not just males, but
yeah.
he didn't mention any females except for the
well,
innkeep.
She's pretty hot. She's pretty hot too, but I think Isaac called dibs.
Right. I'm not going to step on other people's territory there.
Yeah.
I do know that I don't mix with Vaesen.
Right. Yeah. So, what did you ask me about him? You want to look at him? You can easily look at him.
No, she's just looking.
Okay.
I didn't ask anything.
Oh, I thought you did. Okay. Yeah, you're looking at him.
Does he notice?
Do you want him to notice? I'm going to roll that. Are you looking in a way that invites notice, is I guess what I'm asking.
Probably. I mean, it's not a hidden look or anything.
So are you like glancing at him?
Or
is your eye fully bugging out with your tongue rolling down the table?
Somewhere between cartoon wolf and just a quick glance.
It's an appreciative.
So he's gonna,
hello?
yeah, he'll look over at you and see that and go,
I may not need another bed tonight, Ada.
oh boy.
So I'm gonna nudge you to go say hello then.
You know, guys, we're making progress. Just a few weeks ago, this scene wouldn't have happened. All right. Yeah. So you head over there. He says, hello. He'll actually stand up as you approach, just to be polite.
Okay. Yeah, hello.
And gesture for a seat, if you would like to join. Would you like to join me? I am Indrek.
Indrek. I'm Astrid, and I'll sit by him. I'll sit in the seat he indicates anyway.
All right. I mean, it's a booth. He sort of indicates the seat across from him. I don't recognize you. Are you new in town?
I am. Just arrived this evening.
Ah. I am the local smith.
Are you?
Indeed. All day long I bang hammers onto metal.
Do you?
I hope
Yes.
she's doing some banging of the pipe.
Flirt, Astrid, flirt.
Do you come here? Do you come here every night for dinner then?
Usually I do, yes.
It makes sense. The food here is quite wonderful. I just ate myself.
It would be better if I could go home and not spend money at the inn every single night, but alas, I have no wife to cook for me.
Oh, that is sad. Yes.
Or is it? Hint, hint, hint.
Astrid's not looking to cook for anybody.
Astrid, roll me your observation test at this time, please.
Okay. I believe that is a... Yeah. Oh, 6. I got 1 6.
This guy's a fucking troll. That scar.
You just now noticed?
You know what? He's hot. You just noticed now. This guy's a troll. But hey, you know, it doesn't change anything else about him except that he's a troll.
This is true.
Yeah.
Ask him what he feels. Ask him his thoughts about video game journalism.
Oh my God, Jason. There have been about 4 or 5 moments during this stream that I have mentally cataloged as like, let's go back to that and maybe do a short. You just changed it. You just changed all of them. All right.
So you noticed it troll. Dang.
So yeah, you notice he's a troll. Do you want to continue the flirting, or is there anything else you'd like to say?
Yeah, I will probably just, yeah, I don't even know what to do next, to be honest.
Well, how do you feel about trolls?
I will shake his hand and tell him it was a pleasure to meet him.
Well, what brings you to Kali?
Maybe I will see you later today.
Keep conversing.
As you walk away from the table, he goes, "Wait a minute."
Yeah. What is it?
You have the sight.
Do I?
You walked all the way over here to talk with me, and then you noticed something that made you leave. What was it?
I do want to see you later today, but I have other business that is calling me for the moment.
I see. Well, I am off work.
For a booty call.
And because I spend all day doing hard, sweaty, manual labor with hammers and fire and steel, often with my shirt off, I am exhausted.
Do tell.
I have told. Because of that, I will be going to bed after my meal. So if you wish to speak with me, now is the time.
Only now?
That depends on what you wish to speak about.
Why do we need to speak at all?
I see. Should I perhaps skip my dinner?
No, tell him he's going to need a full stomach.
You will need a full stomach.
Ha-ha! Ha-ha! Right around that time, his meal arrives.
By the way, did we get the name of the innkeeper?
You never asked. But, I mean, if you were to ask, I can tell you.
If I were to perhaps, flag her down or wander back over to get her name?
Yeah, it is the woman you were looking for. Her name is Lilo Sisilic. You did know the innkeeper's name before you arrived, so this is just confirming that that's her.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't have to keep awkwardly flirting if we want to cut away to someone else. Unless this is part of a long con and you're going somewhere with it, Cindy.
No, not really.
All right.
No, I don't want to ditch the others in case something happens.
Fair enough.
Well, it sounds like
gorgeous.
ready for something to
At the end of the game,
I'm just saying, based on what I saw, something's happening and you're ditching the others. Yeah, so do you want to ask her or do you want to ask, I'm sorry, I'm addressing Jason now. Do you want to ask her or do you want to ask around who the innkeeper is?
Oh, the lady we were talking to was not the innkeeper.
The lady you were talking to was the innkeeper, but now you want to confirm that she's Lilo.
Or do you have other motives for wanting to know her name?
Yeah, I honestly, if I'm unsure, I can absolutely just roll up awkward as hell and just say, "Hey, I forgot to ask your name," and introduce myself.
I did notice that.
I am apparently at a complete loss for words. My name's Isaac.
Hello, Isaac. I'm Lilo.
It is a pleasure to meet you formally, Lilo.
I know that it is.
I hope that it could be my pleasure to meet you formally as well.
Mm-hmm. What can I do for you, Isaac?
Oh, fuck.
Ask her for a drink later.
I was wondering perhaps if you at some point during the night if your shift would cycle out and you might have time to get to know me better.
Well, I don't have enough employees for shifts to cycle out, but there will be a point in the night when people tend to go home.
Perhaps when that time of night comes, you could call on me. You know which room I'm in.
Perhaps it would be best if we were to meet down here first.
Well, I mean, I apologize. I was not asking you to come to be in my room.
I understand. Yes, we will speak when I am off work.
Poor Isaac.
Well, no, because I mean, they're not going to have like a full telephone setup or anything.
Oh man, I love that I got a full, like, I'm talking to a hot girl stammer out of you just now. That was great.
It was really good.
And I have a beard. All right. So that's going to happen. We have Astrid having dinner with the blacksmith, and Isaac with plans to meet the innkeeper later. What is Ada doing?
Who
are you going to hit on, Ada?
What's that?
Sorry.
Ada's just asking around the general eating area if anyone has seen any real human babies hanging around in the last few months.
Is that correct?
Right, because I'm not anything but subtle. That would be excuse me.
No, I'm pretty sure what I just said was completely the opposite of subtle.
I don't think I would say, hey, anybody seen any human babies amongst all these trolls?
There are humans as well.
Babies.
There are humans as well.
Exactly.
I think I'm just going to observe. I think I am going to enjoy my meal, my drink. I'm going to just kind of chuckle at myself at the awkward encounter at the bar and Astrid and the hunky monkey. And I think that really is what I'm going to do, is to kind of sit back, enjoy my meal, the warmth of the inn, long day, think over what I'm probably going to, look for tomorrow.
All right.
Because I don't exactly know how I would even ask the innkeeper, yo, why did you give him this? What was your plan? Where's the baby? Astrid, Ada's not that kind of, just not that.
Ada's biding her time.
Yes.
Okay. Ada seems like she probably bides her time most of the time.
Yes, exactly. I do a lot more thinking than I do
romping.
Suturing.
Well,
I need Isaac actually to roll a manipulation.
romping for me is illegal, so I'm going to.
Come again?
Sorry, I need Isaac to roll a manipulation check.
Nice.
One success. That is good enough. Now, what will happen is that Lilo will, in fact, come to you after the rest of the room clears out. So here's what I have in my head, sort of space-wise. Isaac, after speaking with Lilo at the bar, returns to the table with Ada. Astrid, along with Endrick, are at another table. Is that basically how we're feeling it? So as the evening sort of winds down, Astrid, are you going to let Endrick leave by himself? Or are you going to go with him? Or do we want to roleplay some conversation before we get to that point?
How could you let him leave by himself?
What?
How
What'd you
could
say?
you possibly let him leave by himself?
No, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna go with him, but I want to retro, like, with an understanding that if the team needs me, they need to come get me.
Okay, yeah, you can let them know that. I think they probably already know that.
I think we've been on enough adventures with you that we know. Oh yeah, okay. We'll just have to get her if we need her.
Just have to get her if we need her. All right. Cool.
So yeah, I will just leave with him.
All right. So is that just going to go down like a typical date, or is there any? Are you doing this to pump him for information, or what?
Oh, I bet she's gonna be pumping him for information.
Okay, you know what? The wording was a mistake.
I have information. If I were to notice something, then I might seek information. Otherwise, it would just be...
Okay. All you noticed about him, like I said, is that he's a troll.
Yeah.
And he knows about you having the site.
Yeah. Those two things are true.
Right. So, yeah, unless I were to notice something odd, then I wouldn't probably just start asking any questions or anything like that.
Fair enough. In that case, Lilo will come over to where Isaac and Ada are sitting at the end of the night as the other customers have sort of finished clearing out.
Lady, please join us.
I am...
Actually, what I want to do right before she does that, I'm going to ask Isaac if he would like to meet with her alone or if he minds me staying. Because I can tell by his stammering and his glances that he's interested in her. So I'm going to ask Isaac before she arrives if he wants me just to head up early so that he can have some privacy, reminding him that we are kind of trying to pump her for some information, and leave it to Isaac how he wants. You know, does he want company on his date or not?
Madam, I would prefer to not have a fifth wheel on this date meeting.
Yes.
But if it comes to it, I will attempt to pump her for information.
Perfect. And if you need me, please come and get me.
With any luck, that will not be necessary.
Well, then I wish you luck. And I'm going to head up to my room, and I will stay awake. I'll probably pull out some books and read in front of the fire.
Okay. Then she will sit down at the table with just Isaac. Well, Isaac, here we are.
Lilo. I have no idea how to start this conversation, my dear. It's been quite a while for me.
Well, I am a woman who is the public face of a tavern that serves alcoholic beverages. So it has not been quite a while for me.
Touché.
Probably what you want to do is tell me the real reason you've come to my inn.
I could do that, but I mean, really, I'd rather go back to the awkward flirting. It may be awkward, but I was enjoying it.
Well, honesty counts for something.
If you want to know why we are here, we're here because of... I'm sorry, cutting back. What is your cousin's name again?
No.
Count
Ada.
Hugo von Kaiserling.
Hugo.
We are here because of the von Kaiserling child. And can I get any read on her from dropping that name and relation?
I need an inspiration test.
Oh no.
Right?
Load. So is she the crowd I'm addressing?
Sure.
One success.
All right. Well,
I would like to point out that is literally the thing on my character sheet that I am worst at.
I will read to you what the mystery says about this particular part. To gain Lilo's trust and make her tell them her story, the characters must be honest, which you have done, about why they have come, and then pass an inspiration test.
Okay.
You have done so. So you asked her specifically about the von Kaiserling child, is what you said.
Yes. Well, I said that my compatriots and I had come here about the von Kaiserling child.
Ah. The child. I take it you have the sight. And you're still interested in awkward flirting?
I mean, did I stutter when I said that?
You did not. It is something I have noticed, that those who flirt the most awkwardly also flirt the most honestly. Did you meet Count Hugo?
Yes. He seemed very taken with that Cantelet that you gifted him.
Yes, it was I who gave Hugo the Cantelet. I really wanted him to record the songs and stories of our people.
They were, if it was one of the songs of your people that I heard when we met him first, it was very beautiful. And if I have any ability to recollect it and, I mean, honestly, from Isaac's mouth, regurgitate it.
Please stop. I saw in him an artist beyond the ambitious academic. And initially, it all went very well. Hugo's performances at the inn here attracted lots of visitors, but once he'd finished his dissertation, it became clear that he had forgotten his promise to return the Cantelet.
Ah.
So as you're looking at her, her face sort of changes. It's suddenly very angry and fiery. She stands up suddenly, quickly. How dare he break our agreement? If he intends to rob our people of our songs as well as the Cantelet, we will take his dearest possession, his flesh and blood, in return.
Have you not already done that?
We have.
And
so she will tell you actually the next part of this story in song. And as she sings, I think, Ada, you're still in the room, though farther away on the other side. As she sings, you both see images appearing. There is before you a garden and a house which you recognize as the Van Kaiserling home. It's night, and Lilo sneaks up to the nursery window. She waits in the garden. And then, concealed by the lilacs outside the window, begins to climb inside with a bundle of blankets in her arms. She hums quietly to this troll child, and in the moonlight, her words turn into song, and the song into magic. The baby troll's features shift into a human face. She climbs in through the open window and places the little troll in the cradle next to the sleeping son of Hugo and Agnes von Kaiserling. Suddenly, a floorboard creaks out in the corridor as the wet nurse moves towards the nursery with a lit candle in her hand. Lilo wraps the human baby in a blanket and hurries out through the window. Outside, the early morning light already glitters across the sea. She will, at this point, pause in her song and turn to you. You see, I cannot give them their child back until he returns the Cantelet. It must happen at this same place where the agreement was made. Kali Lake, at midnight, on the summer solstice.
Isaac does some, does that, kind of looks a little off to the side as he's doing mental math of how long that gives him.
You know what? I don't think we have canonically established when in the year this is happening. Why don't you roll me a D100?
Slip. I got one of those right here. 3.
3 days. You know, you could have rolled an 87 and we would have had an even harder time dealing with that.
Well, so we have 3 days to return this instrument to you.
No.
No. We have 3 days to drag von Kaiser here to return this instrument to you.
That is correct.
Oh, milady. And he promised.
He did. I told him that the...
No, that's...
The price of the loan was the return. That Cantelé belongs in Kali village. He was supposed to return it after finishing his dissertation.
That was all that. I was just triple checking.
Mm-hmm. I do not understand humans and their boundless capacity for breaking their deals.
Oh. Milady, that makes two of us.
Well.
Do you know when the earliest carriage is tomorrow?
As soon as you hire it.
Excellent. My friend went off with the very handsome, hunky fellow.
The blacksmith?
Yes.
Yes, a lot of people do.
I do not doubt it. He is a handsome, hunky fellow.
It's his thing.
But I do not want to deny her time there.
Well,
how early do you think
assume they will be done by sunrise.
Then do you think I like literally now I am just asking her, do you think we could hire a carriage at sunrise?
Who brought you here? So I'm playing this out in roleplay. I don't want to waste too much time on it, but the carriage that brought you here was not like a regular scheduled carriage that travels between the city and the village. You just hired a carriage to get here.
Okay, then we have someone who could take us back.
Yeah, you can just, yeah.
Okay, then we need to be up with the dawn to get you your Cantelé back.
Indeed. So during this,
that is done, we could take a little time.
Perhaps then we could. I would like that.
Mutual. That feeling is mutual, lady.
Okay. So Ada, you are across the room. Just, I think, staring at the fireplace was the last I heard.
I was reading.
Reading, okay. Were you researching?
Yeah, I was trying to find as much information I have on troll myths, lore, those kind of things.
Please roll me a learning test on that. Or an investigation.
I'll do investigation.
Okay.
And I got 1 success.
So what you learn here, now that you are in a troll village with your two friends talking to trolls and other things, you find a way to potentially deal with a changeling situation.
Oh.
Now, Isaac has already found out what Lilo requires in order to give the baby back. But what you find in your book is that sometimes, if meeting the demands of a deal is impossible or unlikely, you can instead threaten to harm the changeling baby.
Because the changeling baby is a troll.
The changeling baby is one of their kids.
Right.
And that's the part that seems to get left out sometimes by frantic humans looking for their own kids, is that the trolls have left one of their kids.
Right.
Something in their weird, twisted property laws says that they have to. But if you threaten to hurt it, it can intimidate them.
Right, because they wouldn't want...
Yeah.
harm to come to their child, but that means that they would have to trust the human race that there wouldn't be harm. Because
well, generally what happens is people don't believe in changelings, or they don't believe that this kid is people don't notice things, and the kid grows up and just returns to the trolls.
Okay, so I'm gonna put that away in my head. I'm definitely gonna mention that to Isaac as soon as he's done with his little fa la la. And obviously, we would never harm changeling or human baby, but threatening. Depending on what Isaac finds out, because can I hear their conversation from where I'm at?
You hear the part where she stands up and sings that song, but I think probably most of it, it's spotty how much you hear.
Okay, but I probably know that that the changeling was her doing, and that she's angry with my cousin.
Yeah, that's right. He broke a deal he didn't know he made, is the gist of this. I mean, he knew that he said he'd bring the Cantelet back. He had no idea that that was anything more than an offhand comment to someone who was loaning him an instrument.
And he's just the kind of cow that would just keep it because he
just didn't think. First of all, he's rich. It doesn't occur to him that someone can't just go get another one.
Right.
And second of all, he had no idea that he was talking to a magical being who was going to hold him to his word at extreme peril to his whole bloodline.
Right. 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 And like I said, he's an entitled kind of guy who would be like, well, we'll just get another one, and I like this one, so I'm going to keep it.
Yeah.
And once Lilo and Isaac had finished their conversation, I would have passed that information on to Ada with whilst pushing to get to bed so we can get up at the break of dawn to GTFOH back to Aaronsburg.
And I'm going to say, before we do, I need to know if his musical ability is literally linked to this instrument, because will he return it knowing that he's going to lose his newfound fame and popularity? He may be like, he doesn't believe in it.
On the one hand, I don't care. On the other hand, does he want his child back?
Well, he doesn't believe his child's gone.
He does not understand the ramifications of the actions he has taken.
Correct.
Can I help you?
And convincing him that a village of trolls has taken his child because he took this instrument might be very, very challenging to convince him.
Yeah.
Without physical viable proof.
I fully expect it will be.
So you know that he, from talking to him yesterday or earlier, that he treasures the Cantelet very much. And you suspect that his musical giftings are at least partly housed in the instrument itself. As for the rest of it, you'll have to go there and talk to him to find out how easily you can convince him.
If we can't convince him, though, I did read in this book, you guys. We have Astrid with us now on the carriage, that if we threaten their child, they might be willing to switch the babies back.
Let us hope it doesn't come to that.
I just know that my cousin is stubborn and short-sighted, and it might be very, very difficult. Because how will we convince him that his child is not his?
Well, before we deal with how that's going to happen, we need to know how you reunite with Astrid. Astrid, when you wake up in the morning, if in fact you did sleep, you will find your new friend hard at work, slamming a hammer into some metal.
Right.
Yeah. What is your first move?
Just to, I will just rejoin my friends.
Cool. So
gonna...
Astrid comes staggering up to the inn.
Oh ho ho!
Stagger.
You heard me.
Yeah.
Did you not even share breakfast with him?
He was working.
A cup of coffee?
He was working.
Look, I don't know what.
I'm not his maid.
I didn't say you were.
Well, it looks to me like you might have had a good time.
We need to get moving.
Exactly.
But this is the plan. We have to get moving. We have to convince my cousin to return the instrument. There's only one other option, and I really don't want to threaten, pretend to harm a baby.
Okay.
So, how are we going to do this? How are we going to convince him?
Well,
we could threaten him.
I say we lay it out for him as we know it.
We'll start there.
Hope for the best. If that doesn't work, threaten violence. And if that doesn't work, fucking kidnap him.
Because he has to be in person to return this. Yes.
We can't just steal it from him. Instrument. We have to bring him back to give it back.
Yeah.
Isn't it part of the promise though that he has to be willing?
Actually, no, but he does have to be the one who does the giving back.
Yeah, I think he just has to be the one to do it.
I see.
Because what it sounds to me is that the promise made was an unspoken promise.
I'm pretty sure it was an explicitly spoken, cool, you can borrow this thing, but we need it back when you're done. And when you've done this thing, and when he did that thing, he went, okay, cool. I'm just gonna take it with me.
Yeah, it was not unspoken, but he spoke it in an offhand manner, not thinking it was important.
I see.
Right.
So it was stated that it had to be returned, but not in a way that he thought there was any kind of danger to his person.
Well, right. We could always threaten to slander him too.
And this is essentially one of the differences between trolls and humans, is that amongst trolls there's no such thing as an offhand promise that you don't intend to keep. That doesn't exist for them.
Oh, yes. I've seen Tales from the Dark Side, the movie.
I haven't, but I have read every Dresden Files book.
Oh.
Every single one?
Holy. There's a lot of them.
I know, my son's ready. Someday.
Not done yet.
Right,
actually, I have a fun story about Jim Bookshire. He met my wife and I when we had first gotten married. Then he met us again when she was pregnant, and then he met us again with our son.
Wow!
And he probably remembers none of those three instances. And at the third one, I went, man, I really wish I had pictures with him from the first two times, because that's pretty cool. We kept meeting him at book signings.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, yes, let's just put it out there straight. You're more brusque than the rest of us, Isaac. So just lay it out at his feet, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
And let's not wait. Let's just go right to it. Because
you guys take your carriage right back to Aaronsburg, and you find the Count. He says, what did you discover?
Well, sir, your wife wasn't wrong.
Excuse me?
So that thing that I keep fucking forgetting, that the Cantelet that you brought back from Kali.
Yes.
That you promised to give back to them. They want it back.
Lila wants her Cantelet back?
Yes. You
what
promised
does this
to give it back.
What does this have to do with my wife's condition?
Your child has been taken as collateral. Or exchanged as collateral.
My child is upstairs with his wet nurse.
No. Your child is back at Kali Village.
Cousin, you are a scientist. Your child is 3 months old, can sit up, has teeth, and is extremely large. Do you truly believe that your genes created that child? Use your brain. That child is not your son.
So here's the thing. This requires 2 manipulation tests. And in classic human psychology fashion, you guys have done it in the wrong order. So, or at least in the order that doesn't seem to make sense on the surface, but probably would happen with real human beings. You need 1 manipulation test to convince Hugo that supernatural beings exist at all, and a second one to convince him that his child is a changeling. You have to do the second one first, because that's how the conversation went. Manipulation test. And you can all roll this. I take it that Isaac has failed.
Yeah, I'm feeling a little... well,
let's see how your friends do.
Yeah.
Well, I got 1.
Okay, that's a success. So he is now... because of what you have said so far, he is now putting together facts that he hadn't before. And he is starting to see that actually the data does line up to this idea that something's wrong with his kid. But you still need to convince him that the supernatural is real.
So we got to do that again?
Yeah, if you want to throw some stank on it by saying something else, go for it. Narratively, I mean.
I mean, just that... something different.
Do you own a cross or anything?
A cross?
Anything Christian?
A Bible.
I mean, we are faithful churchgoers to an extent, but I am a man of science. I don't put too much stock in that sort of thing.
Perfect. I want you to go out there, buy any old cross, and try to cross your threshold with it in your hand.
Okay, so if he does that, it's an auto success, right? But you do have to convince him to do that, so you still have to roll the manipulation.
Great.
This is what we're good at, people.
Yeah.
Nope. This is not what we're good at.
No, it's not what we're good at. Anyone else want to give Astrid a hand here?
Let me see. I'll just throw that one on the floor.
It deserves
Ha
it.
ha ha! 2!
Perfect.
He suddenly, as you guys are talking about this, I assume Ada just sort of smacks him in the back of the head.
I do.
I mean,
Yeah.
she's your cousin.
Yeah. He suddenly goes, oh shit. And like all of the he is smart. He has been studying folklore. He knows changelings, he knows trolls. He knows them academically. But all of a sudden, as you are standing here in his house explaining to him the specifics of what happened in his life, he suddenly connects all the dots and he's like, oh God, we have to go now. And he will...
Yes.
Isaac will literally... Well, technically we've got a couple days, but we should go.
He sends for the nursemaid and has her bring down the baby. He grabs up the cantilet and they pack, and you guys return to Kali Village. And on the solstice, you return the cantilet to the innkeeper. She shows up and hands Hugo his baby, at which point the other baby, the one that the nursemaid is holding, just gets up and walks over to Lilo.
Nice.
Mission accomplished.
Well, now we need to get the mom out of the sanitarium. We need to...
No, it's all handled. Here's what happens in the aftermath. So you go back, and Dr. Norman is already raving about the health benefits of the mud baths, because Agnes is cured. She is fine, especially after Hugo shows up with their real baby and shows him to her. Hugo resumes his academic career as a lecturer at the Department of Social and Economic Geography. He buys many different string instruments and keeps playing music, but he is sort of sad about it forever from now on. He doesn't have that same sort of spark he had. Edward grows up tall for his age and stronger than other children because of all the troll food he ate as a baby. And then you guys gain your experience points.
Nice. Perfect.
Yeah. Oh, and Astrid.
Wait.
Astrid, you never hear from Indrek again.
Perfect.
I'm shocked.
Perfect.
But
And
wait.
he never hears from me again.
He's devastated.
Okay.
But
So,
what about Isaac?
What about
we'll get
Isaac?
to that.
Yeah, Isaac, you tell me what about Isaac. We can do the points, the XP after that.
I
Oh,
want
okay.
to know
'Cause
what happened with
I was
his life.
waiting for the were you affected by your dark secret part of the questions for experience points
Uh-huh.
to say yes, I was, because obviously Lilo and I totally consummated that shit.
Yeah, knocked some very sensual boots, in the words of
Yes.
Zach Brannigan.
Nice.
There's nothing wrong with a giant lady with a tail.
So they say.
So, did we participate in the session? Yes. Did we confront any Vaesen? Yes. Did we identify a previously unknown Vaesen, I'm assuming to us? Yes.
Yes.
Were any of us affected by our dark secrets? I get a yes on that.
Yeah.
Ladies,
As do I.
What was your dark secret? I forget it.
Constant
slut.
adulterer is what they call it back then.
Constant adulterer. All right.
Today we called being a slut.
Well, neither you nor
what's your
Indrek
dark-
was married, so technically no, but I'll allow it.
Well, it was still called adultery if you had
Yeah.
sex before marriage,
yeah,
regardless.
it's
Was it?
extramarital sex.
Yeah, extramarital.
It's just they're both extramarital.
Yeah. What else you got? I have lost
Did you
the
take
page with the question.
risks to protect other people?
Actually, no on that one.
Yeah, I'm okay with getting a no on that.
If you had snuck into the hospital, I'd give that a yes, but no.
Have we learned anything? I think we've learned a strong lesson in keeping our promises.
To trolls in particular.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you just keep your promises to everyone, you don't have to do that much mental legwork.
Agreed.
Did we develop anything in our headquarters? No. And did we perform an extraordinary action? I mean, I want to say yes, but it's not so. I think two of us got that.
Yeah, you successfully seduced 2 trolls.
I just don't think we're allowed to describe it on Twitch or YouTube.
Well, it depends on the manner of the description, but yeah.
Well,
it happened is the point. Something extraordinary did take place.
What about me?
What about you?
What's your dark secret, Patty?
You read a book by a fireplace.
I know I'm boring. My dark secret is that I am attracted to women. Which didn't come up in this
the least dark
case.
secret imaginable.
Well, I think at the time it was called Best Friends.
Yeah.
That's
what
what
it still is.
Or tipping the velvet.
Well, no, I'm thinking of how like the whole like historical like art thing where it's like 2 women obviously half naked in bed together, limbs intertwined. Oh yes, they were just very good friends.
Right.
Hey.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with being very good friends.
Why do you have to sexualize every picture of naked people intertwined in a bed?
Yeah, what's wrong with you people? I'm not in your bedroom. Stay out of mine.
Also, questions for development points. We've completed a mystery, right?
Yeah.
So, did we play at least one scene at the headquarters?
No.
Did you encounter a new type of Vaesen? Yes.
Yes.
Did we visit a place of magic?
Yeah. You went to a troll village.
Okay, cool. Were we subjected to magic?
No.
Did we bring occult books or other important items back to headquarters?
No.
No. Did we make important contacts?
Well, I'll say you did.
2 of us could have, but only one of us is really going to maybe follow up on it.
Yeah, I think having Lilo as a contact counts as important. Indrek he's just a himbo. It doesn't matter. But Lilo is a community leader.
Okay.
Right.
Was the mystery particularly difficult and epic? As much as I enjoyed it, I'm going to have to say no.
No, this was an easy one.
No. And yes, we did solve the mystery.
Yeah.
Nice. So
Correct.
Our headquarters development points are up to 9.
So how many points did that earn us?
Wait, no, I'm shoot.
I'm totally lost.
Okay, you were supposed to be keeping track yourselves while I went through the
Yeah. I'll send you guys the XP questions in the Discord after the fact so you can make sure your sheets are accurate.
Okay.
Jason, I think, has the headquarters sheet, so we did that just on that sheet.
Yeah, I've got the headquarters sheet. It's a notepad file with not a lot in it, but
sure.
That was
I can start actually
right?
looking. We've got some dev points, so I can start we can start looking through and expanding our headquarters.
Nice.
Yeah, I think it was 4 new ones, but according to Jason, there's now 9 total counting the ones
Yes.
earned in previous
Okay,
adventures.
that's what I was.
Yeah, we had 5 previously
Yeah.
from last mystery.
All right.
Maybe like 1 from the... No, I think it was just from last mystery. Because we didn't do it for the first 2 mysteries.
Okay. Well, that's it for this Vaesen run. I see Misery in the chat. No more Vaesen next week. Next week, we are playing Bloodborg, which is a new game that has... I mean, I was about to say it has just come out, but it hasn't come out yet, except for Kickstarter backers, which I was one. I have the PDF copy. I probably won't even have the hard copy in my possession by the time we play it. But it is a gutterpunk vampire game based on the Merkborg rule set. So we'll be doing a one-shot of that, and then the week after, we'll be doing a tiny D6 sort of horror zombie game run by Mia. As for Fridays... This Friday, we're doing the second half of our 100 Years Black 2-parter, which is set in the world of Archonia at a very specific time when there was no sun or moon or stars in the sky, and run in the Merkborg system. The following 2 Fridays after that, we'll be doing a special Halloween story in Shadow Dark, which will be a new system to everyone. I believe... we will have Dean back at the table for that. Though we will be lacking Yuri, and I think Max will be lacking for one of them. So we'll have all of that coming up in October. November 1st is my wedding anniversary with my real-life human wife, and I will not be streaming on that Friday. But then the following week, we will be right back into Worlds Without Number for our Shadows of Archonia 2 campaign. And that's the announcements. Please join our Patreon if you like the show. And if you like the show but not enough to part with your hard-earned money, just join our Discord and talk to us. We like that too. So we'll see you then. Follow us on socials. We're on Facebook, Instagram, and X, and so forth.